Hey guys, it's Cremo, and today I'm going to tell you my 5 tips on how to survive NaNoWriMo. Now, before I tell you guys my 5 tips on how to survive NaNoWriMo, I should probably explain to you guys what NaNoWriMo is, because I know that some of you guys may not know what it is. So, NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. This normally occurs during the month of November, and it is a time for writers to go through and do so much progress in just 1 month. Now, many people use this to write an entire novel. Other people use it to knock out a bunch of short stories, which I have done both of those before. And some people even use it as a time to edit novels that they've already written. So, because National Novel Writing Month is only 1 month and you have so much to do within it, a lot of people will start off really strong and even go over their word count in the first week and maybe even into 2 weeks. But normally after that time, their progress will slow down, and then soon they're not doing it at all, and then they've just given up. I've definitely done this before, and I always hated myself afterwards because I was like, girl, you know you can do this. So it was definitely a struggle to learn how to get through it. And so now that I have compiled 5 tips to help you guys survive through NaNoWriMo. Tip number 1, write about something that you're interested in. A lot of people will think that they're interested in something, they'll get a chapter or 2 into it, and then they'll decide, hey, I don't really like doing this. I would rather write a mystery, or I'd rather write a romance. And that's really good for you to realize, that you don't want to be doing what you're doing, but it's really, really good whenever you can figure out what you want to do before you start. You don't really want to only read romance novels and only write romance novels, and then for NaNoWriMo decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to try writing a mystery. You don't know anything about it, so you would have to do so much research that would cut into your writing time that it may not even be worth it. So make sure that you're doing something that you're interested in and that you know about. That way every day whenever you sit down at your laptop or you sit down at your notepad with your pencil, that you are excited to write and you're excited to figure out what happens next in your story. Tip number 2, have an idea about where your story is going. I personally have never been a fan of outlining every single paragraph of my novel or even every single chapter. What I personally like to do is have a general idea of what's going to happen. Like, okay, in chapter 1, this is going to happen. In chapter 2, this is going to happen. Or even, okay, in the first couple of chapters, we're going to have this character meet this character. And be a little bit more vague. That way, my characters still feel real and they feel like they're making their own decisions. But also, like, I have an idea of what's going on, so I don't sit down at the computer and then I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? So you need to at least have a general idea. Tip number 3, treat NaNoWriMo like it's a job. Now, whenever I say treat it like a job, I don't mean that you need to treat it like a job where you wake up every morning and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go to work today. I really don't want to. I hate my life. Whenever I say treat it like a job, I mean there are going to be days during NaNoWriMo that you really do not want to write. Like, there's just going to be days when you're going to be exhausted and all you want to do is go to sleep, and that's normal. But those are the days whenever you have to make yourself write, because those are the days that kill NaNoWriMo. Now, those are also the times whenever you have to treat it like a job, because there's going to be days whenever you don't want to go into work. But guess what? If you want to make a living and you want to pay your bills, you kind of have to go to work. So whenever I say treat it like a job, you go to work, you sit down, you do what you're supposed to do, and then you can go to sleep. Tip number 4, make a minimum word count per day, which most of you already do, but I'm going to tweak that idea just a little bit. What you need to do is you need to make your minimum word count a little bit more, maybe 300 to 500 words more than what you need in order to succeed during NaNoWriMo. Using the minimum word count that's a little bit more than what you need, even on the days whenever you don't want to write, you don't have to write how much you've been writing every single day. You can write a little bit less, because not only are you ahead of the game, but also your minimum word count is more than you already need. So if you hit this word count every day, then you'll finish faster, which is great. And then if you don't hit that every day, that's still okay, because you're still probably doing everything that you need to be doing. Tip number 5, don't stress yourself out about it. If you get stressed out about NaNoWriMo, then you're not going to want to do it. You're going to wake up and you're like, okay, another day of NaNoWriMo. That means my night is going to be filled with just writing, and although I love to do it, I understand like it can get tiring sometimes, so just don't stress out about it. NaNoWriMo was built to help you. It was to help you succeed. And so if you get stressed out about it, then just take a moment, tell yourself like, hey, it's okay. It's just NaNoWriMo. Take a couple of deep breaths. Remember that NaNoWriMo isn't for everybody. Not everybody can do NaNoWriMo, and that's completely okay. Just because you can't do NaNoWriMo, that does not make you any less of a writer. That doesn't mean that you're a terrible writer. That doesn't mean that you're not going to be an author someday. It just means that you can't handle that stress of having a time limit and having to cram so much into it, because believe me, it's very stressful. The most important thing to remember about NaNoWriMo though, and I know that it can get lost whenever you're trying to hit the word count and you're trying to figure out what you're doing, but the most important thing to remember about NaNoWriMo is that you're doing it for fun. Don't do it if you're not going to have fun with it, because then it's not even going to be worth it. There you go, guys. Those are my 5 tips on how to survive NaNoWriMo. Now be sure you click that subscribe button and you click that like button, because this is my first video and I was really nervous, but that's fine. And also you can follow me on social media, and I'll put all the links down below. Bye guys!